So I'm not gonna lie, the last few weeks have been quite mentally challenging. And I'm not gonna bullshit my way around it. There were times where I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And then after I cleared my mind, I sat back and tried to actually digest the thoughts that I was thinking before. Because how can one feel so motivated, so driven, and so disciplined, and in a split second they feel completely the opposite? And it got me thinking, and I've thought a lot about this. And because people really talk about ambition, myself, I do talk a lot about ambition as well. And very few people actually talk about the side effects of ambition. Very little people say anything about the side effects. But how can you talk about something and push it forward to people without actually mentioning the bad things that it brings to you? So in the last few weeks, I've been contemplating a lot about this thought. And because no one actually mentions the long nights, the lost friendships, the missed events, and the failed relationships that ambition can sometimes cause. I'm pretty sure that very few people might actually relate to this video. However, I wanted to do this video for that one person that is actually going through the same feelings that I'm going through. Because now I can say that I've overcome this. However, I know for a fact that every now and then, every person will experience this. Especially if you are on a path to create something, on your own journey, you are defining your own path. And you will have moments where you question what you're doing. You will have moments where you fail to understand how you're doing what you're doing, or about the drive that you have about doing something, because you are literally following a dream. Sometimes it's a dream that an ambitious person is following. However, in order for that person to create the dream, they must put in the work. Without the work, it's difficult to basically be able to chase that dream. So, but sometimes you have to put in the work, weeks and weeks on weeks and weeks on end, even months or even years, without seeing any results. And it got to me, man. It got to me. I've been working on this project for quite some time now, and sometimes it just gets to you, where you actually start doubting everything that you do. Because but an ambitious person will keep on giving more. That little bit of energy that's left, an ambitious person will even give that out. And one thing is that ambition forces change, and change most of the times brings discomfort, and that is why a lot of people avoid change. But discomfort brings growth. However, the one thing is that you have to keep in mind that growth will come at a cost. Everything in this life will come at a cost. The mental health issues, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, feelings of loneliness, feeling lost, constant dissatisfaction that you're not doing as much as you should, the stress, maybe even a burnout. I mean, it's these things that will eventually, once you overcome these things, you will, first of all, come out of this as a better person, but also, regardless if it fails or not, whatever you're doing, you will grow. You will grow into a better person. You will learn how to deal with situations in a better way. And every ambitious person will go through phases where every day it's a struggle to stay on track. I've been through this phase a few weeks ago. But I remembered that it's these days where most people quit. It's these days where most people quit. It's that period in life where it's just like the no result for quite some time, but you still are putting the work. Most people, once they don't see the results, they stop, they quit. But what if the result was the next day? What if the result was the next week? And you just have to remember, whenever you're going through times where you're thinking about quitting, first of all, remind yourself, this is where most people quit. And second of all, don't think 3 steps ahead. Think 1 step at a time. Whenever you're going through these types of phases, do not worry what you're doing next week. Worry what you're doing today, and try to get the most out of today. If you're going to get the most out of today, and you're focusing on that, and the next day you do the same, the next day you do the same, the next day you're doing the same, it will build momentum. So just remember that, because sometimes it's very easy to get overwhelmed with all these thoughts, and it's really it can take a toll. It can really take a toll. So obviously, if needed, restart, refocus, recharge. It's important. I mean, some influencers online say that it's bullshit, only quitters like rest or whatever. I tend to disagree on that. I think everyone will at a point need some type of rest. Maybe it's 2 hours a day, maybe it's 1 hour a day, maybe it's 1 day per week. But I believe that if you don't rest, in the long run, it will prove to be pretty much like you might burn out, which then would actually make things worse because you would feel worse. And yeah, so always do that. And also be ready to be misunderstood. Be ready to be misunderstood. I mean, when I tell my friends that I'm not going out with them, or for example, I'm speaking with people and they tell them, yeah, they ask me what my plans for the weekends are, and I just tell them I'm staying in and working. Some people look at you like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And yeah, it's sometimes it gets to you. I mean, there's no lying. Like sometimes you do feel that inner sting where you're like, shit, I might be really missing out. But the reality is, probably you're not. If your vision is set on something, then don't care what other people will say about it. Focus on your vision and do not let people pull you off track. Remember, a man that wants to lead the orchestra must turn his back against the crowd. And it's a very, very, very powerful sentence. People that are driving for change will get hated on. These people that you see online that are trying to share something that typically people don't want to hear, or they're driving for change, you're gonna get hated on. And you always have to keep this in mind whenever you are going through this kind of phases. And also, like, remember that everything is a choice, is a reflection of a choice you've made in the past. So the hard work you're doing today will reflect on tomorrow. And this by itself should help you push through the day. It should help you push through that extra little bit so you make it through the day without quitting. And yes, ambition is really nice. Ambition is really cool to have. But we all know that ambition brings its own toll. And don't be scared to speak with like-minded people who understand you. Try to find people that are going through the same journey as you are. Because if my best friend who's doing the same thing as I am comes to me and tells me I'm literally feeling like crap and I feel like with zero energy, zero focus and these kinds of things, I will understand him. I would not laugh. I would not make fun of him. I would not mock his journey. I will support him because I understand exactly what he's going through. The normal Joe who's not doing shit with their own life might not be able to understand it, and they might be able to pull you off guard because they might convince you that you're doing too much, that you are literally just doing, like, dreaming too big. But the problem is them. They're dreaming too small. So don't let normal people pull you off path. If you have a dream and you're very ambitious, but sometimes you go through those phases where you feel like quitting, come back to this video and watch this back and go through the phrases and sentences that we talked about. Remember, keep pushing forward, guys. Keep pushing forward. And obviously, like, focus on today. What can you do today to make the most out of your day? What can you do today to go into bed this evening and say, it was a good day. I've done what I had to do. It's these things that are critical at these phases in time. So, with that in mind, I will leave you guys to it, and I hope you achieve all your dreams, and my DMs are always open. If you ever want to have a chat, or just feel free to drop down in the DMs. And yeah, thank you for watching. I wish you best of luck.